Welcome to the first video of the QAV250 build. My name is Rob, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how to put together the QAV250 frame. This is the G10 version. I want to point out that this is not how you would go about starting out the build for the QAV250. If you were to put together the frame first, you would not be able to put together the components that are required to actually build the quadcopter. The reason I want to show you the frame build first is because I want you to see from the very beginning how the frame is going to go together in the end. So when we're adding the components that are required to make the craft fly, you'll have an idea of how it's going to all come together in the end. If you want to see this build from start to finish, go to rcdrone.com/QAV. I'll have all the notes and everything to see there of the build. Let's get started. Okay, we're going to start here with the power distribution board. We're going to take these long screws right here, go right through on the luminaire side, so with the luminaire side facing up, just like that. Drop those screws straight down. And flip it upside down here. On these short tubes, these are actually tubes. There's no threads inside of those, so these are just the spacers. The rest of these tubes have threads on each end. You take the short spacers, drop them on one on each here. All right. Then we're going to take the body. This is the top and the bottom. This is the non-carbon fiber edition. We'll take it, you mount it on the bottom, just like this. Easier said than done. Getting all these screws lined up. There we go. Once those are flush, you take these four of these long ones. These are threaded on each end. You actually tighten, not too tight, but you tighten these down right on top of them. And that's what holds that bottom power distribution board onto the bottom of the main frame. And tighten those on. When you build it for real, you will want to use a little bit of some sort of light Loctite. A dab, I've heard, is good just to keep everything from coming unscrewed. This is for the camera up on the front. This is actually pretty difficult to get in here. I've done it a few times, so it should slip in easier than it did for me. That first time I did it, it took forever, but I've assembled this to practice off camera a couple times, so it slid right in there, but yours will probably be harder the first time you do it. What we're going to do on either side of this, now you don't have to mount this, this is for the first person viewer camera, the lens to come through the front. So this is optional right here. What we're going to do is, there's two holes on both sides of that. You take these short screws, And then these are the last two of the long tubes that are threaded. We're going to secure on each side of that to make that front. With this flipped over, they provide an Allen wrench, at least they did for me. It comes in the bag. This is a bunch of extra hardware you get for spares. Everything is in that bag. I'll lightly tighten each of these. Okay, now we have that set up. I'm going to take this top plate here. You see those notches that match the top of the first-person view or camera hole up front. So you line everything up with those two there. Again, sometimes it's difficult. It popped right on that time. I'm going to take these 6 screws and screw that top plate down. Everything kind of goes in there, the battery and the first-person viewer camera when you set that up. Ooh. And the last 6th screw up here. So you get all the screws in, go around, snug them up. Okay. Now we're going to take these remaining, these are kind of the medium in the middle sized tubes compared to the rest. We'll just take these short screws, and in each arm there's a little hole. We're going to just screw these down into those. These are actually the landing gear. They stick out down a little bit further than the power distribution board, so that when it lands on the surface, and obviously a flat surface, it's not going to hit this power distribution board right here, in theory. This last one in here. Give all these a little tightening. And they take these black caps here, because each end is actually threaded. They give you these caps to push over the edge that actually will land on the ground to kind of top it off. And then these are the LED lights. They're different colors. These are going to mount just like that. These are self-tapping screws, so I'm going to wait to do that later on in the build. Because once those go in, I think they'll be in semi-permanently, because you're going to run wires back and forth. And if you want to learn more about the build and see where that's headed and see me do that, it's rcdrone.com/QAV250. And this is the Luminaire QAV250. And we'll continue on from